Hello, everybody. My name is Deku, and welcome to my review of the first season of True Blood. I know this is going to be weird that this is like the first video on the Deku Talks channel where I just ramble about things, but that's kind of like, you know, fitting that it's just something random that I'm doing like out of the blue one day. I started watching True Blood like last week, and I just finished the first season, and I want to give my thoughts and opinions on it because wow, it's really good. it for a few things first. It's old, right? I didn't realize how old True Blood was, right? Also, I didn't realize that this was going to be the first video of my new haircut. It will look better in the main channel stuff because I'll wash my hair tonight and all this other shit. Um, but yet, like, I hadn't realized how old it was. It came out in like 2008. That means like, what is it? Like Lost and Breaking Bad and True Blood, and then I also think kind of also maybe Game of Thrones as well, and The Walking Dead were all airing at the same. That's crazy. Like the early 2010s, like the late 2000s and early 2010s had some peak fucking television in it. That's nuts. But man, like wow. Obviously, I've told you guys I've been getting into Vampire the Masquerade recently, and I'm sure that you could notice during some of my videos where you could see LA by Night being recommended in the background from the recommended videos. But like, it's really strange. I actually am not that into vampires. Right, I've never. I know I wear all black. I do all this other shit. Right, I got this like kind of like goth punk vibe thing going on. Despite the fact I don't dress it, but then again, you don't dress, you act like it, all this other things, right? And I love like dark macabre shit. But when I was younger, I had a tiny bit of hemophobia, and like vampires and like watching vampire movies and even nowadays has kind of helped me like get over that because I don't think I have it at all anymore. But I have really bad anxiety sometimes, like diagnosed GAD or whatever, general anxiety disorder. So like sometimes I'll see certain shit. I'm not on my medicine. I'm like, oh, I guess that'd be kind of like a trigger or something like that. But like I don't really, I can deal with it. Um, and listening to vampire shit like Vampire the Masquerade, hearing about Vitae and Blood, and the like has kind of helped me like kind of get over it. Um, when I have bad anxiety and the like, because whenever I'm on my medicine, I literally don't give a fuck. I'm like whatever. Like I remember one time I was in the doctor. I told the story already, but I was on I think it was Valium or Vicodin, getting ready to go into surgery, and the nurse went to give me an IV, and she had to draw some blood out of my arm, and she spilt it everywhere, and like blood got all over my arm. And I was like, whoa. That's not supposed to happen. I remember that was my exact words was that's not supposed to happen. I'm just like smiling my ass off. Um but yeah, like it's just one of those things, kind of like weird things. And it's never like in games either. Or like if I see it in other things, right? It's always like if I'm bleeding or like getting like blood drawn, or like I'm seeing like really fine amounts of it going in like a movie like a vampire bite, or like having blood drawn, or like somebody has like their wrist cut and like it's flowing. I'm like uh, sometimes, right? But like if it's like gore and like somebody just gets like fucking shit chunked out of them, right? Nothing. It doesn't affect me, right? Like it's like the more major the blood, the less it affects me. But the less it is, the more it does, right? There's like a fine area between like nosebleed territory and maybe having like a bad, like a kind of a bad cut, and I'm like, what? Which is so strange because I've seen people bleed in real life all the time, right? Doesn't affect me, even when I'm off my medicine, right? I get cut, I'm like, oh, that shouldn't be happening. Bandage it up. It's like always on my hands too. It's a weird like autism thing, right? It's like always on my hands, right? If I get my hands cut, I'm like, ugh, right? But if I get cut on the leg, or if I scrape myself, or the back of my hand, like I have a cut right here, I'm fine, right? Nose bleed, mouth bleeding, anything along those lines, right? My face gets cut, I'm fine. But my fingers, I think it's like an autism thing where it's not the blood itself, it's the idea of having an injury on the things that I use every day, and like I'm kind of scared that I'll be able to never use them again. So probably that's what it is. Anyway, on to True Blood. I really enjoy it. I really do. I think it's really interesting, and goddamn, it is just somebody's fanfic of Vampire the Masquerade. There's adjudicators or justicars. There's fucking essentially Primogen. There's no clans, right? You don't see fucking Clan Nosferatu or La Sombra walking around, but you can kind of like tell who's supposed to be who, right? You can clearly tell that Bill is supposed to be like a Ventrue or maybe a Toreador, right? And then there's others that are, you can like, the girl at the very end of the season, the redhead, Jess, I think her name is, like very clear Bruja energy, which doesn't make sense because she was turned by Bill, embraced by Bill. And then they have all these other kindred. Oh my god, I'm using the term kindred instead of vampire. But like all these other like vampires all over the place, and you can kind of like tell who's what, right? And I think that's really cool. And there's a lot of drama. It is just filled with drama, and that's like the big thing I really like about Vampire, is that it's always about how do you say, like interpersonal politics, and then like politics around, right? It's not just about like supernatural fights and the like. And it is also easier just to like do a bunch of tropes in like basic writing 101 shit, and then go and do that, but like introduce vampires. But goddamn, this has got to be like just somebody's fucking Vampire the Masquerade like fanfic, right? Just like scrubbed of any like White Wolf lore. You got changelings, you got werewolves, you got kindred politics, you have the idea of a council, you have the idea of a masquerade, even though that was something I thought was really cool, is that like there really isn't a masquerade, and like Supernatural's like kind of out there, kind of not, but like there's still like hidden info, one of those things. And I think that'd be like kind of a cool direction for Vampire the Masquerade to actually take, right? Especially with ideas of consensus reality constantly shifting, and the technocracy and other things like that. Like, the technocracy is in Vampire the Masquerade or World of Darkness is always like shifting and trying to make things more logical. But as things get more technologically progressed and people become more progressive because of the idea of technology constantly changing, that eventually the idea the Masquerade breaking could benefit them more than it being a secret, right? Because then you can kind of control the narrative with it, and other things like that. And I'm sure the Camarilla would absolutely want to benefit from that in some way. But yeah, like, I'm really enjoying it. Lafayette, he's fucking great. I'm glad that he's not like too much of a stereotype. I was really scared that he'd be like a drag queen, kind of gay man stereotype, but goddamn, he's like my favorite character. I love him. Suki is cool. She's cool. She's a little like, I don't know, complicated, right? Like, it feels like things happen like too negatively, right? Where like drama just happens, and I'm like, girl, calm down. Like, chill out. Have another Vicodin. But like there's like some twists and turns throughout it, like Suki's grandma dying, did not see that coming, did not see the vampire getting fucking kidnapped, didn't see that at all. I'm also really happy with like the way it addresses queerness as well, right? With I think his name is Terry, right? Or Jerry, one of the two. The vampire that was kept in the basement, and like how he's gay, but because he doesn't look gay, people always made fun of him. But Lafayette is kind of like a mixed relationship where, like, obviously he's very flirtatious with him and, like, calling him boyfriend, all these other things. But, like, you can kind of also tell he's kind of using him at the same time. Very complicated. And obviously when he goes missing, he's caring more about himself than the person that, just left. I really like that. The bar owner, the changeling, the dog, I think he's kind of cool. I suspected it was him throughout the entire season. But then, like, right around the last two episodes, Renee started, like, sticking out more and more. I'm like, okay, it's him. It's got to be him. And I was right. It's Renee. Spoilers, by the way. And I didn't expect the first season of True Blood to be, like, not so vampire heavy, right? Like, the whole idea is, like, vampires, but there are episodes where Bill isn't around, right? Or vampires aren't doing vampire shit. Like, over the course of the season, like, 4 people get bitten, right? And that's, like, 8 hours of content that... No, 12 hours of content, right? Because each episode's an hour long of, like, not vampire shit happening. And I think that's kind of funny. But also kind of cool at the same way because it still feels dark. It still feels kind of like goth punk sort of shit going on. I also like the idea of it taking place in a small town like Bon Temps in Louisiana, right? Because that is World of Darkness. Like, your neighborhood is the World of Darkness. I think that's fucking cool. I think that's the coolest shit ever, right? Like, something in place so boring and could have, like, these dark secrets, right? Because that exists in real life, right? It might not be vampires, but there might be a local mafia, local gang, and all these other shit, right? Or, like, dark past, right? Especially down south. In the Rust Belt or in the Bible Belt and all these other things, like, of seeing these things. And I think having that idea and taking such a small town and having weird shit happen, that I just eat that shit up. And, like, I can't think of any other shows that do something like that, right? And I always look for it. Like, the things that come up to the top of my head is Stranger Things, now True Blood, and, like, JoJo's Part 4 and Morio, and maybe Part 8 too. But I haven't read all of Part 8. So, like, I want more shows like that where it's, like, weird supernatural shit happening in a small town, but it's, like, expansive. It's not just one season. It's not just a mini series. It's, like, it's got this, like, lore and shit going on, right? But too bad White Wolf just doesn't make good TV shows. They can't make good shit anything except for the books. The books are great. Not the novels and shit, but, like, the game books, the core books, are fucking peak fiction. But yet, for some reason, it's so hard for them just to take that and put it into a TV show, right? Like, I heard Kindred the Embraced sucked dick. Also was surprised that Teen Wolf isn't a part of, like, the True Blood universe and other things like that. But yeah, I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed it a lot. A lot of twists and turns, a lot of different, like, subversion of expectations, right? Still feels kind of cheesy. And I expected it to happen. They dropped the R slur in, like, the first episode. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that makes... And it was from a guy making fun of Suki. Also, Suki's power is really cool. Very, like, subtle, but, like, very, character defining. And I like that. And I like the explanations of the supernatural being thrown in more and more throughout the first season. But then some things aren't supernatural, and, like, people think they are, but they're not, right? With, like, I forget, like, I think they called her Juju Witch or something like that. But, like, she's very clearly practicing, like, voodoo, and the like, with, like, crone stones and all this other stuff. And, like, very, very clear ideas and allusions to voodoo and traditional, like, voodoo magic with an ICK. So I think that's very interesting. That's very cool to see that, like, that wasn't what was going on, but it was, like, the idea of faith. But, like, that is also, like, just straight up Vampire the Masquerade, like idea of the of Mage, the Ascension, and like reality and consensus reality and shit. And she must not have believed in it enough for it to have actually had an effect. But because like the mom did, Marianne did, like it worked on her. Like straight up, like there are scenes in this. I'm like, okay, yep, he used celerity, he used blink, he used cat-like reflexes, or he used sense the unseen, or like people whenever they were glamoring people and like their voice gets like deeper. I'm like, okay, he activated Dawn, or he activated Dominance. And then like there would be moments where they got hungry. I'm like, oh, he failed the rouse check. And it's straight up just somebody's game of Vampire the Masquerade made into a TV show that is legally distinct. I do like the idea of like their fangs appearing and then like disappearing. That's kind of cool, but like, come on, leave them out. Like, let them be out all the time, right? I really do hope that like the older the vampire we get, the less subtle they're trying to be for them to be vampires, right? I think there was something called like the Authority or whatever in the universe. I'm going into it spoiler free, but like knowing my lore on VTM and WAD, it's like it's kind of like obvious of what like the illusion's going to be, because like WAD has been around since the 80s, right? The entire idea of like werewolves versus vampires is because of them. They did it in the 80s, and that was such a cultural phenomenon that it's carried over to everything since then, and it can be traced back to them, right? A lot of things with Kindred and like the ideas of like blood magic and other things, and not just them being undead bloodsuckers, comes from WAD. It's cool, right? But yeah, man, I'm excited. I literally have. It's on the HBO screen right now on Hulu on my third monitor, which is weird because it goes first, second, third. It's not 1, 2, 3. I know, weird. I know. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I really am. I'll probably watch all of it. I mean, I'm sure people will be like, "Oh, well, season 7 is really bad. Season 4 sucked dick." Right? Like, something, something, Breaking Bad, The Fly episode, something, something, season 9, The Walking Dead, blah, blah, blah. But, like, I don't really give a shit as long as it's entertaining to me, right? And as long as it's not, like, weird about politics and I don't have to, like, drop it, right? Where it's like, whoa, communism bad, or, yeah, we need to reform shit, right? Just, like, being very, like, trying to be progressive but ends up being very liberal about it. I don't know. As long as it's as long as they try and like do the progressive stuff properly and not like weirdly, I don't. As long as it's done well, I don't really care. uh but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Yeah, what else was I gonna say? Fuck, I was gonna say something. um the CGI is a little dated, but like also surprisingly good too. Like you can clearly tell that it's fake, but like it has a charm to it too, right? Of like the changeling or the shapeshifter like transformation and the like. All the characters are really well written. Um, Terry as a vet from Fallujah, like I looked at him, I'm like, dude, I'm not going to feel bad for you because you killed people in Fallujah, right? Like that was something that like the show, like maybe I'm insensitive to this shit, but like this is just the opinion I have of it, right? Like if you go to another country and kill brown people and then come back and you feel bad about it and you don't seek the proper channels to like do something good because of what you did, I don't give a fuck that you feel bad. Like I have sympathy for you that like, oh, you feel bad, but like I don't feel bad for you. And maybe that's kind of fucked up to some people, but like you have to understand the circumstances of that, right? That's like somebody being like, yeah, I feel bad that I had to use self-defense against somebody, but I will bring it up at every opportunity, right? Like, oh, I needed money really bad. Like, yes, there are victims in this. It's nuanced. They are still victims of imperialism, but they are still to blame for their actions and all this other shit. Of course, you can't go a single Deku video without being really fucking political. But anyway, yeah, I enjoy it. thank you. If you want to support me, I have a Patreon down below. There is also memberships as well as 99 cents a month. Not on this channel yet, but on the main channel, which is where it will lead you to. But other than that, thank you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh my god, it's 20:08 for the video link. Thank you to the Ultimate Fleet, aka the members and patrons. Saline, Peachy Bun, Sleepy Sheepy, Lola Bartazal, Bell, Finch R, Emanali, Lily McMillan, Another Dragon, Henri, Moonze W, Andrew Ortega, Yoan, Ariana Henry, Helen, Angel313, Miles Morales, Shira, and Test. If you wish to hear your name and see it at the end of every video, you can do so by supporting me over on Patreon and through the memberships through the links in the description down below. It makes you a part of the Ultimate Pirate Fleet. But then again, you've already heard the outro of this video. Thank you.